I seem to like stuff, I seem to identify with things that get better with age. So a big part of that is denim and leather. And contrary to what most people assume, I don't really like to think too much about what I'm going to put on. So I automatically gravitate towards things that just go well together. And that is denim and leather. And as an extension of that, I look to the classics. I mean, the classics are a classic for a good reason. They're the best at whatever it is that they do, and they're recognized as such. And I find that more often than not, the classics also get better with age, and they tend to just go very well together. Now, there is something that's not denim, and it's not leather, but it has all the inherent qualities of both. And actually, I don't know why I'm trying to build all the suspense, because you guys saw the title of this video and you decided to click on it. White's cotton. And when it comes to brands, the OG, the one that everybody just instantly thinks about, it has to be Barbour. I mean, for me personally, if I'm not wearing a denim jacket, if I'm not wearing a leather jacket, then I'm wearing a White's cotton jacket. And honestly, a lot of the time, especially with our sort of middle European weather, White's cotton is going to be better than both leather or denim. I mean, it's the right choice of material that will see you through, I'd say, early to mid-spring, then from early to the end of autumn. And then, depending where you are in the world, actually, it's going to see you through winter with a little bit of clever layering. It's a really simple material. It's 100% cotton that's been woven in a very tight twill, and then it's been impregnated with some wax. That makes it lightweight, it makes it pretty durable, it makes it pretty breathable, and most importantly, it makes it pretty water resistant. The White's cotton is going to keep you dry in all but the most torrential downpours, and you're going to look good while you're keeping dry. And that's the main difference between a techie jacket, like something like Jack Wolfskin, and a White's cotton jacket. Okay, I don't know why I mentioned Jack Wolfskin, it was just the first one that came to mind when I'm thinking outdoorsy, techie, but looks kind of shit. Okay, even if you take something super duper techie and something super expensive like acronym. Yeah, the White's cotton's maybe not going to be as good at keeping you dry from the outside or even dry from the inside with the breathability. But this is the difference. Like, White's cotton is going to look better with age. It's going to look better the more you wear it. And I really don't think you can say that with any piece of techwear. I think with everything we purchase, there should be a balance of practicality, of longevity, and of aesthetics. And these things are certainly coming into play when I decided on what model of Barbour jacket was going to be best for me. I had to pick between the Ashby, the Bedele, and the Beaufort. And yeah, for me, for right now, for my lifestyle, for my life, the Ashby is by far the best choice out of the Barbour range. And it's the Barbour range we're going to be discussing today. There are a lot of White's cotton jackets out there. Some great, some not so great. I mean, Filson, they do an amazing White's cotton jacket in their tin cloth. But I went for the Barbour. I went for the Barbour, yeah, a little bit on aesthetics, but mainly it was value. I'm based in Europe, I'm based in Germany, and Filson's based over in the States. And by the time that the tin cloth jacket lands here, it's just prohibitively expensive. So yeah, I went for the Barbour simply because I just think that I got a little bit more value, like a little bit more bang for my buck out of that. There's also the fact that Filson do just like a massive range of outdoor things. Barbour is really just known for the waxed cotton garments. They specialize in that. And also it's quite like, it's very in my head after the 4-season ad campaign that seems to be running on Netflix called The Crown. Maybe you guys saw it. I got this Ashby last year when I was looking for a lightweight, waterproof outer layer. And I got the Ashby over the Bedele or the Beaufort for one simple reason: fit. Because fit is king. And the fit of the Bedele and the Beaufort is kind of practical if you're a hunter or if you're a farmer, and kind of shit if you're anything else. The Ashby is the Barbour for us soft city folk. It just slims everything down a lot. And it does away with all of the superfluous details that we don't really need in the city. Like, I don't really think that anybody needs the dead pheasant pocket. At least I really hope that they don't. I mean, shit, in Berlin it'd be like a dead pigeon pocket. That's nasty. The fabric is a 6-ounce tightly woven twill cotton. Now, 6 ounces sounds light, and that is light, but with the addition of the wax, I think they call it silk wax, it really gives it some heft. On the outside, at the front, well, only on the front, but on the outside, there are 4 pockets. There are these 2 hand warmer pockets here, and then there's these 2 flat pockets down at sort of the waist kind of hip kind of height. Now, these 2 hand warmer pockets I thought were going to be kind of useless given that they're placed kind of high up on the jacket, like just underneath the chest. But actually they're super practical, they work really, really well. As do these flat pockets as well. They are lined for a little bit extra durability, the snaps are really, really solid, and I mean it's not going to keep everything 100% waterproof with this flap, but I say it definitely doesn't hurt. There is a big chunky 2-way zipper here, and you can see the zip pull is massive. That just makes it very easy to get done up when you're wearing gloves. And then down at the bottom, yeah, as I said, is a 2-way zipper, so you can kind of like zip this up when you're needing a bit more ventilation, or maybe even a little bit more flexibility, more movement when you're wearing a few layers underneath it. The zippers run very, very smooth. Down at the bottom here, there is this little like, I don't know, that's kind of like a storm flap, a wind flap, but only runs like part of the way up. I'm really not too sure why that's there, but there's probably a very good reason for it. And that's something you're going to find about all the Barbour pieces, all of the Barbour designs. They've been around so long and then they've evolved with time. And so all of the design elements in here, they're in there for a very, very good reason. It's kind of like with any classics, like the details, the designs, it's survival of the fittest, it's product evolution at its best. So what you're getting here is a distillation of over 100 years of product design and product development. What worked stuck, what didn't work just fell by the wayside and was discarded. To make things a little bit more waterproof, more water resistant, there is, I believe this is actually a storm flap. Like there's this storm flap that runs up the front here. Most of the time, I don't bother messing around with the zip. I just close a couple of these snaps and then everything's fine. When we go over to the inside, we get a 3/4 lining in this 100% cotton tartan lining. I mean, I guess that's a bit of a nod to the brand being founded by a Scottish guy. And trust me, if anybody knows things about rain and how to stay a little bit dry, it's a Scottish person. Over on the left-hand side, there is a single chest pocket with a Velcro closure. And that's one thing I really, really don't like. I do not like Velcro closures on anything. For one thing, it's just uncomfortable to take things in and out with these little barbs here. And then another side with this fuzzy bit that the barbs hook onto, that never lasts. It pulls out and then this just doesn't stay closed after a very short time. I remember even like the Barbour jackets like of my youth, and that's going back quite a long time. They also had this Velcro closure, and I remember even like when I was a kiddo thinking this was useless. I don't know why they insist on keeping going with that, but yeah, whatever the reason, Velcro closure on this single chest pocket. On the chest pocket, there is instructions of basically what not to do with your Barbour jacket. Do not wash with soap and detergents, do not dry clean, do not machine wash, do not store wet, do not hang up. Basically, wax cotton is a simple material, but the wax has to stay on the jacket in order for it to still be wax cotton and do all the things we want to do, like keep us waterproof. So yeah, that means like no washings, no detergents, like nothing that's going to strip the waxes off, and you get a long list of things to do to keep the wax on the jacket. The tartan lining, it only extends, I don't know, 2/3 of the way down the jacket. Down at the bottom here we have this 100% polyester material, and I think this is called the drip catcher. I'm not too sure what this is for. I mean, maybe it dries a bit faster than the wool, but I'm not too sure if it's actually waterproof. Let me check that. Yeah, it might be waterproof. Also on the inside, you're going to find another zipper on both sides. This is for the liner. Honestly, I would just wear a jumper underneath it, but you can get a liner if you do want it. There is a gusset vent down here at the bottom with the same snap closures as you find in the rest of the jacket. This just expands things out a little bit at the back if you're dragging a little bit more wagon, I guess. Also, I mean, I guess like the like the two-way zipper, it's going to allow a little bit more movement if you're wearing bulky things underneath, or if you're a little bit bulkier underneath. Up here at the collar, instead of the waxed cotton, we have this quite narrow corduroy in brown. Waxed cotton doesn't feel particularly nice against the skin, and the corduroy feels much nicer against the skin. It does soak up water like a sponge, which doesn't really bother me too much around the collar, but this corduroy material is also around the cuffs, and that does kind of bug me, especially if I'm out on the bike. These tend to get very, very soggy, and they just kind of like cling to my wrist. It's not all that comfortable. And yeah, if I was to make use of this throat strap here to sort of pop the collar and close it up a little bit, then yeah, this corduroy, it might not be the most comfortable choice for the collar material, but it is durable, it does look very good, and it is much nicer than the waxed cotton would be against the skin. So that's just one of these practicality balance things that I was talking about earlier. The sleeves up at the shoulder, they're a raglan cut, which means like super, super easy movement, but not very much definition around about the shoulder. But it also keeps things a little bit more waterproof in my experience. Just the fact that you've got a seam running down here, only a single one, and not up and over the shoulder, is there's just less chance for the water to sneak its way through. To the inside of the sleeves, we're going to see the second reason that I would pick the Ashby over the Bedele and the Beaufort. The first reason is the fit. The lining of the sleeves in this sort of slippy, silky polyester material, that's the second reason. Folks seem to think that it's a bad thing when sleeves are lined in polyester or another man-made material rather than a cotton twill or something like this. I don't know why. I mean, have you ever tried sticking your arm down like a jumpered arm? Jumpered arm? When you're wearing a jumper, have you ever tried sticking your arm down the sleeve of something with a heavy cotton twill? It's not impossible, but it's certainly uncomfortable and awkward. I think there should be some sort of, actually not even unwritten rule, there should be a written rule for clothing, for jackets, that they should have something silky lining the sleeves. It makes everything easier. Like, it makes movement easier, it sits in the body better, it's just more practical all around. I mean, friction isn't always good, guys. So those are the details of the Ashby. It is missing the storm cuffs that you find on the Bedele. It's missing the dead bird pocket that you find in the Beaufort. It is shorter than the Bedele, and it's got a lot less room to layer than the Beaufort. And unlike the other two, it is not made in the Barbour factory in England. But I still think this is the better jacket. And when I say better, I do mean better for me. And this comes down to simple practicality. And that, at the heart of it, is why Barbour are so good, is why they've lasted so long. They make garments, they make products that are practical and they serve a use, they serve a purpose for people. They take care of their needs. For me, one of the needs is that this fits well, that it looks good. I mean, yeah, I can't wear a million layers under it. That's fine. The bulkiest that I'm going to go is maybe a denim jacket. And there's going to be plenty of room under here for that, especially with those polyester lined sleeves. There's going to be plenty of room and plenty of movement. The Ashby just keeps the essence of the classics. And yeah, it does do away with some of the practicality that is found in the other jackets. But in this case, for my needs, and I bet for the needs of most people out there, those practical aspects, those practical details are superfluous. So in doing away with those actually makes it more practical in a roundabout kind of way. And if you are a hunter or a farmer or somebody who's really out and about in the outdoors, then there are much, much better choices of jacket than any waxed cotton jacket or any of the Barbour range even. I mean, if you're doing these pursuits, or if you've got that as a vocation, then you really would be better served going with something a bit more techy. I mean, things have moved on. The only reason that these are so well known and so associated with that lifestyle, with that aesthetic, is because at the time, when they came to the fore, they were the best choice for that. Nowadays, I don't think they are the best choice anymore. The only reason that people really go for that look is to do with nostalgia. But really, getting back to practicality. Practicality for myself, and also a practicality for, I'd imagine, most guys out there. If you're looking for a good jacket for the odd jaunt in the woods and spent most of the time like going from your office to the pub, the Barbour Ashby is your best bet when it comes to wax cotton jackets. It's got all the details, all the functionality you will need, including one of those functions being that it fits very well. It's a classic style, that means that it goes very easily with most things, and it gets better with age, and it lasts long enough to get better with age. I see it a little bit like this. The outdoorsy hiking guys, they've got the term the outer shell, and that's just a jacket that fits over the rest of their stuff to give a degree of insulation and waterproofness, water resistance. Yeah. This is just an outer shell for the city that doesn't look shit. But I'd be pretty curious to know if you guys have had any experience with any other wax cotton jackets or wax cotton garments. I mean, there's a few of my favorite brands that do pretty nice versions of wax cotton, whatever it might be. Some that I think work very well. The unlined ones, I'm really not too sure if they work too nicely. But anyway, I'd be curious to know if you've had any experience with that and how you've been liking it. Or do you find there's another material that's going to be better than wax cotton for whatever reason? Just leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this. And when you're on your way down to leave your comments, God, I say the same thing every time. I'm going to have to try and find a way to mix this up a little bit. Anyway, when you're on your way down there, you're going to be passing the like button, you're going to be passing the subscribe button. Guys, if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up. That really does help out the channel. If you're liking denim, if you're liking menswear, if you're liking wax cotton, then just hit that subscribe button because that's kind of what we're all about here. And that just leaves me to say, guys, as always, I hope everyone's happy and healthy out there. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope you're taking care of each other. And I'm going to see you in the next video.